Everyone saw the single dad as a jinx. Until a billionaire kissed him and changed everything. The whispers always came first, drifting through the air like wind against cracked windows. Liam got used to them, or at least he pretended to. People didn't try to hide it anymore. In their eyes, he was a jinx. The guy whose wife died giving birth. The guy whose business failed. The guy who lost everything in a single year. They said tragedy clung to him like a shadow, and anyone who stood too close would be next. But none of that mattered when he looked at his daughter. Amelia was 5, bright-eyed, and full of questions that a man burdened with grief could barely answer. She saw magic in puddles, wonder in broken crayons, and hope in a father who was barely holding himself together. In the small town of Ridgefield, Liam worked as a janitor at the community center, not the dream he once had, but the only work he could get after the bankruptcy. People avoided him like he carried bad luck in his pocket. Still, he woke up each day for Amelia. She tugged on his sleeve one morning. "Daddy, are we going to the winter festival tonight? Miss Clara said Santa might be there." Liam hesitated. The festival meant crowds. Crowds meant whispers. He didn't want Amelia hearing the things people said about him. But he looked at her hopeful smile, the tiny hand gripping his, and nodded. "Of course, sweetheart, we'll go." Even if the world hated him, he wouldn't let it steal her joy. The winter festival lit up the town square with twinkling lights and cheerful music. Children ran around with cotton candy, parents laughed and socialized, and vendors sold everything from handcrafted ornaments to hot chocolate. Liam carried Amelia on his shoulders, letting her see above the heads of the crowd. Everything seemed fine, until a woman with red curls tugged her friend's sleeve. "That's him," she whispered. "The jinx." Some people glanced, eyebrows raised, pity mixed with discomfort. Others moved away, subtly forming distance like he was contagious. Amelia reached down and patted Liam's head. "Why are people looking like that, Daddy?" He forced a smile. "Because they've never seen someone as pretty as you." She giggled and kissed his cheek, unaware of the judgment around them. Liam bought her a small toy reindeer. He was fishing change from his pocket when a group of men from his old construction business approached, former coworkers who once treated him like family. "Liam," one of them said with a sneer, "surprised they let you in here. Thought bad luck was banned at the entrance." "Come on," another laughed. "Careful everyone, don't stand too close. You'll lose your job next." A few bystanders chuckled. Liam lowered his eyes, holding Amelia tighter so she wouldn't climb down. The first man leaned in close. "Be a good dad, Liam. Take your kid and leave before you ruin the night for everyone." His chest tightened, the humiliation, the anger, the exhaustion, all boiling within. But he wouldn't explode. Amelia deserved better than watching her dad fight in public. He simply nodded and stepped back. But as he turned to leave, Amelia noticed the tears in his eyes. She whispered, heartbreak blooming in her tiny voice, "Daddy, did I do something wrong?" He swallowed hard. "Never, never you." And just when he thought the night couldn't break him any further, fate shifted. A commotion stirred near the entrance of the square. Cameras flashed, people gasped, and security guards created a protective circle. Someone important had arrived. A sleek black car parked, and out stepped a woman wearing a long silver coat, the kind that shimmered like frost under the lights. Her confidence was unmistakable. Her name whispered through the crowd like a gust of fame. Isabella Hart, the billionaire CEO of Hart Enterprises. A woman whose success was the stuff of headlines. A woman who, by every definition, existed worlds above Liam. He barely noticed her. He was too busy wiping his daughter's cheek where a single tear had fallen. But Isabella noticed him. Perhaps it was the sight of a little girl hugging her father with desperate love. Perhaps it was the unfair distance the crowd kept around them. Or perhaps, fate had chosen this moment, after taking so much from him. Isabella stepped forward. Before anyone could stop her, she walked right toward Liam. The whispers shifted, confusion replacing judgment. She crouched gently to Amelia's level. "Hi sweetheart, I'm Isabella. That's a very cute reindeer you have." Amelia blinked at her. "My daddy bought it." Isabella smiled softly. "Your daddy must be a very good man." Amelia nodded. "He's the best daddy in the world." Liam felt his throat close, unsure if he should speak or remain silent. Isabella stood up, meeting his eyes. "You're Liam Walker, aren't you?" Liam froze. "Why yes. Have we met?" "No," she said, voice warm. "But I've heard your name. And I've heard how cruel this town has been to you." People fear what they don't understand. The crowd hushed. No one breathed. Liam clenched his jaw. Ma'am, we don't want trouble. We were just leaving. Isabella tilted her head slightly. Why leave something that belongs to you as much as anyone else? Then, before he could respond, she placed one hand gently on his shoulder. Her touch was firm, grounding, like she was telling the world to back off. And then, she did the unthinkable. She leaned in and kissed him. It wasn't a small kiss of greeting, nor a staged publicity stunt. It was soft, meaningful, lingering, a kiss that claimed the moment and shattered every whisper around them. Gasps erupted through the crowd. Phones lifted. People who once avoided him stared wide-eyed like they'd seen a ghost come to life. Amelia covered her mouth in shock, then giggled excitedly. Isabella stepped back, her eyes unwavering. Now, if he's a Jinx, she said loud enough for everyone to hear, I guess I am too. Silence, heavy and absolute. Liam stood stunned, heart racing, breath caught between disbelief and something dangerously like hope. Why, he finally whispered. Her voice softened again. Because sometimes the person the world tries to break, is the one worth believing in the most. Security approached, asking if she needed to leave the crowd. But she waved them off, keeping her gaze locked on Liam, as if he were the most important person there. Would you and Amelia join me for a walk? She asked. Amelia answered before he could. Yes. Liam chuckled nervously. I guess that's a yes, he said, shoulders relaxing for the first time in years. They strolled through the festival. Not behind the crowd, not pushed aside, but right through the center, with Isabella walking proudly at his side. People stared, not with contempt anymore, but fascination, curiosity, respect. Isabella bought Amelia hot chocolate, laughing when the girl spilled a little on her coat. She asked Liam about his dreams, the ones he abandoned after everything fell apart. You were a business owner once, she said. Why did you stop? Liam stared at the lights in the trees. Because everyone said I brought bad luck. Investors pulled out, partners left. I didn't want my daughter growing up around that. Your daughter deserves a father who believes in himself, Isabella replied gently. Not one who hides because of other people's fear. He looked at her, truly looked, and saw no pity in her eyes. Only belief. Real, unshakable belief. The kind he'd forgotten, existed. The night ended with Amelia falling asleep in his arms, tiny fingers clutching her reindeer. Isabella walked them to their car, refusing a chauffeur. May I call you sometime? She asked, voice suddenly tentative, the billionaire stripped away, just a woman hoping for a chance. Liam laughed under his breath, unable to stop smiling. You just kissed me in front of an entire town. I think you've earned the right to call. Her laugh was soft, beautiful, and free. Good, because I plan to. She leaned in, kissing his cheek this time, a promise instead of a shock, and whispered near his ear. Let's change everything, Liam. He watched her leave in the winter night, silver coat glimmering like hope made real. For the first time since fate took everything from him, Liam felt the weight begin to lift. The next morning, people treated him differently. Good differently. Neighbors waved. Old coworkers apologized. The whispers turned into apologies, admiration, headlines even. But none of that mattered as much as what Amelia said as she crawled into his bed at sunrise. Daddy, she murmured sleepily, is Miss Isabella gonna be my mommy now? Liam laughed, pulling her close. One day at a time, sweetheart. One day at a time. She nodded, her tiny voice full of absolute certainty. I think she likes you. And for once, Liam allowed himself to believe it. Maybe he wasn't a Jinx. Maybe he never was. Maybe the world just needed someone brave enough to kiss the broken pieces and show everyone they were worth loving after all. And Isabella Hart, billionaire, powerhouse, miracle, had just done exactly that. His story wasn't over. It was finally beginning.